A Swift Kick in the Ass, episode 119. Life is challenging and difficult. No one gets out alive. Time to suck it up, Buttercup. Get ready for a monster-sized boot, aimed to help you get traction on personal change and get living. I am John Curran, your host. Join me as I share my journey, exploring the forces that motivate us to change and help us get through whatever life throws at us. A swift kick in the ass. Life on your terms. Welcome to another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass. This is your host, John Curran, and today's topic, wake-up calls. So, about 10 years ago, I spent a week with my dad. You know, it was a pretty fancy place. They actually waited on him hand and foot, but it really wasn't fun for either one of us, even though it was a defining moment in both of our lives. And that moment, or that week I'm talking about, is the week that I spent with my dad as he lay dying from ALS in hospice. Now, that is a week that is kind of etched in my memory, and over time I've been able to kind of put that behind me and think about my dad in other ways. Because honestly, at the end of a person's life, they're not really the full person that they were at when they were healthy. My dad was just a fraction, I guess, of the man that he was. Of course, because he went through hell. It's understandable. And it's just the way it is. So, you know, after that week in the lights, because my dad did not want to turn off the lights at night. So I learned how to sleep in the light. You know, after that week in the lights and after my dad passed, I came home and I poured myself into what I knew would be helpful to my mental status, and that was writing. Throughout my life, I've enjoyed writing. I've written poetry, I've written short stories. I haven't really ever found my niche, but I enjoy it, and I enjoy the process, and I think it's very healthy for me to write things down, whether or not I share them with other people. So that's what I did. And Tom was aware of this, and about 6 months maybe or so, Tom calls me up for my birthday, and he says, "John, we need to become podcasters." Now, Tommy listened to podcasts. I really did not listen to many at that point. And this became a swift kick in the ass, because I thought, yeah, that sounds great. What's a podcast? And what are we going to talk about? And he said all these things that my dad, taught us, and how we both really appreciated people who lived on their terms. And what I mean by that is that throughout my life, there have been people that I've taken notice of. Not anything too crazy or out of the ordinary, just regular, ordinary, everyday people who seem to, have a better grip on their life and the terms of their life, and seem to have more control over what they do and how they live. That's always been very interesting to me. It's not about money. It's more about freedom and opportunity to live how you choose. So I found that interesting for a very long time, and seemed like fun, and it was a good reason to spend time with my friend. The week with my dad really was a wake-up call for me because here I was in my 40s, early 40s, and I was working. I was a family man. I had 3 children, and I'm educated, and I've been taking care of business. I don't know if I'd call it a midlife crisis or not. Maybe you could, however you want to label it. But the truth of the matter is that throughout my life, I've always found this subject very interesting, and I've always looked inward for continuous improvement of my life and how to better my life. And I have a background in health science education. So I've been really searching for ways to improve my life for a long time. Not that I have a bad life. I just want to live the best life possible. I want to live on my terms, not somebody else's. So this lifelong learning and love of lifelong learning, is why I went to school and why it took me so long really to get through, because I ended up bouncing around taking all these different classes, which helped give me a good foundation of knowledge. Now, when I went to school to learn how to learn. I wasn't really interested in educating myself for a specific job or in a specific area of interest. I was a generalist even back then. And I saw the opportunity as taking classes and learning. I loved it. I really did. And I guess, and if I'm going to clarify, let me clarify. I didn't really I learned to love it. It was an extreme challenge. Being away from home for the first time, being away from controlling parents, it was a good time when I went up to school for the first semester or first year. But my parents put the kibosh on that. So here again, I not only learned through a formal education, but I also learned through the decisions that I made and the situations that I put myself in. And, not only that, also prior to my father dying, I dug myself and my family out of severe debt. Several $100,000 worth of debt we paid off in probably about 3 years. So I, experienced the school of hard knocks, and I received a financial education. I learned the hard way. And instead of claiming bankruptcy, which I could have easily done, I dug my way out. And I learned from that experience. So, I guess throughout all this, I've learned that while it's important to improve your life, you have to be very careful about running from the life that you have in the interests of making it better. And what I mean by that is, do you or are you really happy or enjoying the life that you have right now and taking full advantage of that life? If you have children, are you spending the time with your kids that you should and enjoying them at this age that they're at? Kids grow up fast, and our lives pass by very quickly as well. I think when people have children, they have an additional frame of reference in regards to time. So it seems like time goes faster after you have kids, because you're like, holy crap, my kid's no longer a baby, they're in college. So I think you should be careful about, thinking too much about the future and worrying too much about the future. I'll get to that a little bit in a minute. But, throughout my life, we have my dad who died of ALS, and Tommy who died of brain cancer. But before my dad, before Tommy, one of my good friends, Brian, lost his brother. His brother was only 21. He died in a freak car accident. Another friend from college, Kim Bergalis, she died of AIDS. She was purposely infected by her dentist because her dentist wanted to prove that AIDS was not just for homosexuals. It could be spread to anybody, and he proved that it could, and he did spread it to a lot of innocent people, and he was dying, and it's very sad what he did to innocent people. But that killed my friend Kim. And I knew other people that died as well, throughout my life. And so it's not that I'm a bad, it's not like I'm attracting death. Death is just a part of our life. I know a lot of different people, and I guess the more people you know, the greater the likeliness is that you'll know someone that dies. But death is a motivator because it makes you realize that life is short and that you have to think about the here and now, and that the here and now is really the only thing that matters. So if something is worrying you and you feel like you need to get something done, right then, when you're thinking about it, you might not have the time to really do what you want to do. The question is, what can you do right then, right now and then? And I think if you start to kind of stop yourself, stop that train of thought and beating yourself up that you want to do something and you can't, to change your mindset to one where you start to solve for the problem, to say, what can I actually do to move this forward? And even if it moves you forward just an inch, that's fine. You're moving forward. This is the here and now. There's no future guaranteed. Future only exists in our mind, and it's based on what our mind comes up with from memory that it keeps. The past is only in our mind. It doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. Only thing that exists right here and right now is you and me listening or, hearing. You're hearing this. This is your now. This is your here and now. So think about, try to let go of some of this worry about things that you can't change and start figuring out what you can change, because this is a fight. It's a fight for your life, and a fight for the life that you want. Tommy was in a fight for his life, and it quite literally, it was for his life. He was going to lose his life. There was nothing he could do to change that. So he had to take it, and he had to make the best out of that situation. It sucked. He embraced the suck, and he died. It sucks. But that is the way it is, and we must all face death someday. So we can't change it. So let it go. Just stop worrying about the future, because, most of the things that we worry about, they never happen anyway. Tom Petty said it. I'm saying it now. A lot of people say it. You should start questioning why you're taking and why you're accepting this life. If you're so unhappy, why are you accepting it the way it is? What can you do, or what are you doing to make it better? And I guess what I found in my own situation is that what I was so angry about and upset about, it really wasn't the situation. I mean, I was causing my own situation. I was the problem. I needed to change. I needed to change. And that's really a hard thing to face sometimes. That's a kick in the ass. Why are you participating in the rat race each and every day, getting up and it's killing you? Well, there's good reasons. I look at those beautiful little faces every day they aren't so little anymore. But I know why I work so hard. I do it for my family. I do it for myself. And I know why, I do that. But I also have my mind elsewhere thinking about other things I can do. And my life isn't just made up of work. There's more to my life than just work. And I know there's more to your life than just work. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I want to kick you in the ass and get you thinking about what you can do and what you will do to make your life better. You may want a way out of your current situation. I know I do. Question, what you're fighting for, but not really so much what for, but what you're clinging to. Question what you're clinging to. What are you resisting that's causing you so much pain? If this is something that you can't change, then you need to let it go. Or you need to just embrace it, really. Tommy identified with his terminal illness at the end. He fully embraced the fact that he had brain cancer and he was going to die. That's extremely brave. If you think about it, though, the only other choice he had was to cry about it and be totally miserable, more miserable than he ever was, because of something he couldn't change. Doing that and feeling bad, it wasn't going to change anything. It was only going to make him feel bad and make others that he loved and cared about feel worse. Tommy chose a different route. He chose to embrace life and just soak in as much life as he could possibly be allowed. And that's what he did. In that way, he didn't identify with his situation. He made it his own. He applied his own character, his own personality to it. He made it his own. Tommy didn't have a choice. But rather focusing on changing the situation, he focused on what he could do to make it better. And I applaud him for that. Unfortunately, it often happens that we look up to people who are terminally ill, who have received that news that their life is going to end and they know what's going to end it. Or at least they have a better idea of it than we do, if you're considered healthy and not knowing that you're going to die. So, Tommy couldn't win. So he embraced it. And I think that his life was better for it. And, he was very courageous. And I think that, too, was a part of who he was as a person. And when these situations will bring out your natural character, or even elements of your character that you never thought you had before, but you never had to. So I think that for those of us who are healthy and don't have to face terminal illness, which is absolutely horrible, I think we can all learn from it and use it as a wake-up call. But don't wait until you receive a terminal illness to start living your life the way you want to and controlling your terms. This is a fight for your life. This is a fight for the way you want to live your life. No one's going to fight for you. You have to do this for yourself. Now, there are going to be things that you can't change. If you can't change it, you have to figure out a way to let it go and to be able to live with that. And if it does happen, if what you were worrying about does happen, you'll cross that bridge when you come to it. But I think one of the things that I've learned recently too is that we spend so much time and energy thinking about these scenarios that never occur. And it's a natural thing, but a lot of us will go to the worst case scenario. And statistically speaking, the worst case scenario is very small chance of that happening. So yeah, it can happen, but it's not very likely. Same thing with the best case scenario. Oh yeah, this is awesome. We're going to get there. Yeah, maybe. The reality falls somewhere in between. So we have to recognize that and factor that into our decisions and into our enthusiasm about things that we do in our life. Not be fooled and make a wrong decision, but we will make wrong decisions. Anyhow, I think I'm starting to ramble here at the end, and some of you may think I rambled all the way through, and that's okay. This is your wake-up call. This is my wake-up call as well. I want to do better. I don't want to have a podcast full of fluff. I want to tell you how it is. I want to be open and honest. And you know what? I'm also going to tell you, if you disagree, write me. Let me know. I want to hear from you. It's okay to disagree. Now, don't just send me hate mail just because you're a hateful person. I'm not going to respond to that. And I can read right through that. I like constructive criticism, and I really am here because I want to help people create positive change in their life as I create positive change in mine. So with that, I'm going to leave you for the time being. Peace and chicken grease. This is John Curran. This is a swift kick in the ass. Have a great day. Bye. This marks the end of another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass, placing it directly in the can. As much as I like to talk, even I have my limits. It's time to go. Catch me on the next show. For better or worse, whether you like us or not, please leave comments wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter. Visit our home on the interweb. I think you can leave me a voicemail there. You can also email me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. It's been my extreme pleasure. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you got your ass moving. Until then, until the next time, I'm out of here. Peace.